Hello, Bolt fam, and welcome to another episode of ChargersCast. I'm your host, Kirk Brewer, and as you can see, this week we're still in the preseason, getting ready for the 2026 season. But this week we've got Brennan Isham back with us from Chargers District. Brennan, it's been a long off season, buddy. It is great to see you, and it's great to get back into football season.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Good to be back on the pod and good to have football back. I was telling you earlier on that I'm been tired of all the other sports, so it's good to have football back. And I have the Hall of Fame game out of all games on. All the diehard fans are saying they're going to watch this like the Super Bowl, and that's how I feel like, because it's good to have football back, and training camp's starting, so everything's ramping up, and it's only going to be tons of football from here on out for a whole season, so that's nice.
Yeah, it's fitting to be recording this one while the Hall of Fame game's going on as kind of a little more formal kickoff for ChargersCast and the 2026 Chargers season. So let's jump in. Okay, they're in camp. They just got done a couple days in San Diego. Yeah, so we're in camp, just getting ready for the 2026 season, and just did a couple days in San Diego, which is awesome. And there's a lot to talk about as we're heading in. Like I was talking on the last pod. The elephant in the room, of course, and what all the pundits are saying, and I think you and I both agree, of all the things that have taken place this offseason, and I think overwhelmingly everything that's taken place has been good. I mean, there isn't a whole lot you could say that was negative this offseason as far as personnel and everything, but the big one, of course, is Mike McDaniel, and just before we started the pod, you and I were chatting a little bit about and we might as well talk a little bit about it. I'd love to get your 2 cents, but, talked about, Roman served a purpose, based on Harbaugh's history with the two. We got 2 11-6 seasons out of them, and brought some stability to the team, even though I think we all agreed it with Rashawn and Joe Alt going down, Greg really wasn't able to adapt his system. And so Justin got the crap beat out of him last season. It was a tough 11-6 season last year. But Mike McDaniel's in the house. He seems enthused to be the Chargers OC. He really does. And I'm excited to see what he can do. I was never a big fan of his as a head coach. But if you go look every place he's been as a coordinator or a specialist coach, his teams have performed very well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how adaptive. And man, are we not loaded with weapons this year at every position, offensive skill position. So he's got a lot of toys to play with too. So love to hear your thoughts on McDaniel coming in.
Yeah, so I really like him. The only biggest problem people had when he was a head coach was obviously the losses. That's a given, but is him being too lenient. If you look at what he had to deal with, especially with the drama with Tua, the concussions, and then the locker room drama with a lot of people getting in trouble, they still had a top 10 offense, sometimes top 5 offense every single year, no matter what, even with backups. He even did some good things with like Quinn Ewers and Darren Waller and like a lot of these guys that aren't even good anymore, and he turned them into something. I remember he went to the playoffs with Skylar Thompson, so he had to deal with a lot, and so I think he still did the best he could there, but like you said, when he was on the 49ers, he killed it. They went to the Super Bowl and NFC Championship multiple times when he was an offensive coordinator. The number one thing I want to point out is I think he's just so much different, and the scheme he's running with us, this is why he's such a good coordinator. Because, like, for instance, it's the little things. He's just so methodical with what he wants to do. I was watching a practice and they were on YouTube. And long story short, he told them emphasizing on getting to the line of scrimmage super fast, getting to the line of scrimmage, hurry up, because it puts the defense on their toes and they don't really know what you're going to do because it's pretty much having a hurry up offense the whole time. And I really like that. I think that's super. I don't think Greg Roman would emphasize that at all. That's just not his philosophy. And I think Mike McDaniel, he's all about that hurry up and quickness, and that's why he had a top 10 offense. Defenses have really hard time dealing with that type of offensive coordinator, so I think it's light years better than what we've had the last couple years. I know Kellen Moore had a top 5 offense coming into the position with us, but I still think Mike McDaniel's going to outperform him as well. He had some hype before, but I think Mike McDaniel's going to be really good for us and turn around good for Justin Herbert specifically, because even they had O-line troubles too. They didn't have the best of O-line, and Tua wasn't getting nearly as hit. It was bad decisions on his part there. Not even as bad as our line, so just imagine what he can do with the pieces that we have. So
yeah, and I think I saw part of that same deal there. And I found it interesting because, you look and he doesn't, come into the Chargers. He doesn't have Waddle, who's now in Denver. We'll see how that works out for him. And he doesn't have the Cheetah. So from a skill position set, he may not be working with blazing speed, even though we can talk about a couple pieces that we brought in that do have sub 4.3, 4.2 speed, but they're not marquee names, right? Those pieces. And so it looks like he's attacking speed or tempo from a different perspective, which is get to the line of scrimmage quick, have motion to determine what the defense is doing. Defense can't determine what you're doing because they're multiple. They could be running 5 different plays from the same formation, and keep pressure on the defense. Which also, what's that old saying? The best defense is a good offense, or the best offense is a good defense. It goes both ways. So if we're always keeping the defense on their heels, well, that alone is going to help the offensive line, and it's going to help Justin. But also getting, we've all heard the stories this offseason, Justin working on his footwork, swapping his left foot and his right foot as far as the lead foot. So he can get the ball off a half a beat quicker and get it to his guys for some more yak. It's going to be really interesting as we start leaning in to preseason games, how much of that we're going to actually see before we get into September 13th and week 1 against the Cards, and really see how this type of speed of decision-making, speed of pace, speed of tempo is going to keep defenses on their heels. And then Justin can do everything. He can run it. He can pass it quick. He can pass it long. He can throw it on a rope. He can throw it 70 yards, 80 yards in the air. And like I said, I was looking at all of our skill positions as I was doing the previous pod, and I'm like, dude, we're loaded. Our tight end room is loaded, okay? I don't think people realize how good Charlie Kolar is going to be. That guy's got great hands, dude, and he's a beast of a blocker. He is the most willing blocker we probably have on the team. He's a Harbaugh dude through and through. So, really, really looking forward to it. It was time. I respect Harbaugh a ton for making the decision, and it seems like he and Ortiz were on the same page with that decision. They were very patient, knowing that was the guy they wanted, but they weren't going to press him to come over because he still was interviewing for some head coaching jobs. So looks like a great fit. They're both quirky dudes. Just awesome.
Yeah, I can, not arguing on what you were saying, but if people even say we have less weapons compared to what he was working with, I would like to see the numbers between Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill versus Brennan Thompson and Keaton Mitchell, because that's really close. Because Keaton Mitchell was the fastest running back last year statistically. off of a certain measurement, and Brennan Thompson is the fastest 40-yard dash of 2026. So
Yes. They're just not as established, is all I was really pointing out.
Exactly. Not as established, but I'm going to be curious to see what he's going to be able to do with those guys. Especially like Lad McConkey's pretty fast, and it's going to be interesting because he never had some big get up wide receivers like Quinn Johnson and Trey Harris. A lot of people don't realize Trey Harris is 6'3". He's like a Keenan Allen almost. Pretty, not too big, but he did put on a lot of weight this offseason apparently. Almost like 30 pounds, I heard. So him and Quentin Johnston, as well as the speedsters, it's going to be good. And I guess I'll go on to another avenue here, but I want to talk a little about the roster. Super, super deep. This is the best tight end room I've seen in a while, but this is the best running back room I have seen by far in over 10, probably. Yeah, I'd say.
Going back to Sproles and Michael Thomas and LT.
That was the last time we had a better room because Kamani Vidal had 100-yard seasons. We got the fastest running back by that measurement in RB2. And now we got Amarian Hampton, who's already showed last year, had a 100-yard game, broke out. So, best RB room we've had in a while. And I think the wide receiver room is better based on how deep it is. We had Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, but we never really had an established wide receiver 3. I think we have plenty of guys that are going to step in that role now. So a lot of elite guys on this offense, and this is probably the best offense I've seen in a long time. Top 10 center, top 5 left tackle, top 5 right tackle. So it's a very, very elite squad. And I just want to touch on the offensive right now, but the defense is also a whole nother story.
Yeah, I mean, if you just want to, from a 64,000-foot view, there really aren't any holes in the roster, and there's some good depth. And as we go through camp, we're going to really start to see who's differentiating themselves as far as who's going to make the 53-man and be that depth behind who we already know for the most part with one position, maybe one position at left guard. We know who's going to be the guys in their spots. And I touched on it in the last pod about Keenan, because I love Keenan a ton. And Keenan, dude, he's Mr. Third and Keenan, right? But at this stage of this roster, it just doesn't make sense to bring him back in a even reasonably starting role, because he's going to take reps from guys who need to develop into 1A, 1B, 2, right? And I'm looking for Trey. He's going to have a season. Okay, he's ready. He put in his dues last year, blocking his ass off. He is going to get the reps. Like I said last pod, Keenan took mostly reps from Ladd. And then I'm looking at QJ. You remember when QJ came out of college? QJ was a yak guy. He was not the deep guy. He was the yak guy. Don't be surprised if he goes back to a little bit more of that role under McDaniels in this scheme, where he's getting the ball quick, and at his size and his speed, he's creating yak as well. Don't be shocked if we see more of those shorter routes, slants, curls, and go. And then Trey, KLS, and this Brennan Thompson, looks like he's got hands. It's going to be really interesting to see what role he's able to carve out for himself in the preseason and in camp, because he's not just fast. He can catch the ball. He can track it. He can catch it. So that room's loaded, dude. I think we're loaded, and unless somebody goes down, we're set. I mean, we're set. And we're not even talking about Dede. I don't even think Dede's going to get a role in the receiver room. I think he's going to be a specialist on special teams.
I was going to say something about Darius Davis, too. I believe that, but I feel like in a world there is a chance where he flip-flops and Brennan, just for this year, Brennan Thompson becomes that special teamer guy, also getting some reps, but pretty much being that DD role, and DD becoming a wide receiver now because he's a little faster than Darius Davis, as well as I've been seeing every report I'm seeing by Chris Rim and a lot of these other guys about the camp days, Day 6, Day 5, and what's happening. I'm seeing Darius Davis in it every single time, and I'm seeing Justin Herbert loves him this offseason, it seems like. Seems like he's giving it to a lot of people, but he's throwing it deep, and there's been a couple of times where Darius Davis laid out and grabbed it, so it could be flip-flop, but I will like him on the team, because there's times where he flashes, like, when no one else can, it seems like he gets it going. Like, I remember he scored 2 touchdowns one game, or back-to-back touchdowns, and they were both laid out in the end zone. Like, amazing touchdowns. So, like, it would be good to have him as, like, a 5 or a 6. Just in case someone does go down, he can suffice. Like, especially in Mike McDaniel's offense, it's more built for people like him. Tinier, fast, give him the ball, like you said, quick, and let him go. Have your blockers like 6'4" David Njoku and 6'3", 6'4" Charlie Kohler. We also got one of the best fullbacks left from that dying breed, Alex Ingle. So
it's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun because if you give them the ball, that they're going to take it and run. QJ last year, they even did it with him a little bit, and he would take off. So it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, defenses are. I think it's going to get pretty scary. I know you saw some of those. You know, I hate these off-season lists with a passion. You know that because you see my Instagram, right? All these guys are posting these lists. I try and refrain from that just because I hate them. Just it's because it's busy work during the off season. You got to do something to, right? And it's like the people who are writing these lists, they don't know any more than you or I know or anybody else knows, right? But when they were writing, you know, the one where the players pick, you know, and Justin came in at this, and you know they had a couple Broncos talk about Justin Herbert when he came in at 39, right? One was Pat Surtain Jr. or third or whatever he is, and then the other one was the big D-line guy.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and they're just like, you know, Justin can be scary. When he's making those kind of plays, he can be scary. And so turning him loose with those weapons, right? You got Njoku running through the middle on a crosser, right? You got Ladd speeding up, you know, and then you've got QJ, you know, and then you got Mitchell coming out of the backfield in a swing. I mean, who are you covering, right? And all that's coming at you at 100 miles an hour. So it's going to be fun. Let's get in a little bit into a couple camp-related things. And the first one I've got on my list is Slater. He came up a little gimp in San Diego, but everything appears to be okay. Looked like he was holding his left arm, and he had a little hitch in his giddy up on his the same leg where he had his patellar tendon corrected. But I have not heard anything dire other than he might be getting a few more rest days than he otherwise would have. You hearing anything different?
He was at practice today, and it seemed like all normal. So
Good.
It seemed like he just got shaken up a little bit. Coming from a serious injury like that, you're going to get that here and there, in my opinion. Some people just heal a little more. Seems like they are still slowly trying to get him back in. But, yeah, I think it's all good. I don't think anything you have to worry about unless you are going hard 24/7. Then he's not going to play this season. He's going to get injured again. So he's got to keep off of it because he has 18, 17-ish weeks of playing nonstop and a gauntlet 3 through 10. We'll get into that later. So he's just got to rest more than usual, like you said, but I don't think it's anything serious.
Yeah, I think I would suspect that Harbs is going to give him maybe a little more rest than Joe. Um, Joe's younger, probably heals quicker, but I suspect they know who their starting tackles are, and obviously they want them week one ready to go, up to speed on the game plan and the scheme and all of that. But they also want them there on week one. So those guys are probably going to get a few more rest days than some other folks, other than maybe like, I'm sure 52, he's going to be getting some rest, extra rest days, and a few of those guys. But yeah, it's, I don't know about you, man, but I hear Slater goes down on a post and I'm like, oh shit, we can't have that happen again in the preseason this season. That just wouldn't bode well. What are your thoughts on our? We already kind of touched on a little bit. I think really the only position that's like wide open is replacing Zion, which we weren't going to give him the bag that Cleveland gave him, so it was time to move on. I heard today that we may have a dark horse that was a late round pick last season that may be flashing at that position amongst what appears to be a pretty wide open competition.
Yeah, so I really wanted to get into this because there's about 5 guys that are competing for that position, but it seems like the main 2 right now are Branson Taylor, who's the dark horse, and I can't even pronounce his name, but that kid from
Awokshu.
Yeah, from the Lions. So Branson Taylor's been in our system for a year, was able to watch everybody, and he was a late round pick, but he played every single starting snap for under Justin Herbert on that left guard position today. So what I think they're doing is putting these guys on for a whole day to see, kind of like starting them for a preseason game or something. I don't think you can evaluate so much if you're flipping 5 different guys every single time. So give them a whole day to see what they can do. It looked like he was doing pretty well, but Pipkins is also in that little lineup, but it looks like those 2 are the front runners, and it's pretty interesting. I honestly am not too worried compared to a lot of people, because you have to realize what we were still able to do with what we had last year, and this year isn't even close. Last year's O-line, this year's O-line. So even if we don't fill it to a lot of the people's standards, it's still going to be good for what we want. He gets broken through, cool. Biotish has got it. Biotish doesn't got it. Slater's got it. Alt's got it. Penning's got it. Or is it Trevor Penning on the right side?
Right guard?
Right guard, yeah. Is it Trevor Penning?
No, right guard is Cole Strange.
Cole Strange, yeah.
From Miami, who played under McDaniel.
Yeah, so they those 2 I always get them mixed up. They're like the same person to me, in my opinion. But yeah. So then Cole Strange has got it. So Penning's also in that.
He's in the rotation. With Slaughter.
That's what I mixed up. So yeah, and I didn't mention Slaughter too much because it seems like they're really trying to take their time and develop this kid. So it really seems like they're trying to develop him. I think you can put him in any way you want if he has a year of development, especially if someone goes down. Hopefully they don't, so you don't rush him into it. But say Biotish doesn't work out this year, you can put him in next year and he'll be fresh, maybe even better. So I like him. To be honest, I really wouldn't want him to start left guard. He's a top 2 center, top 5 center from college football. Keep him like a developed quarterback unless you really need him or somehow he becomes the top 5 left guard. Other than that, I think the guy from the Lions or Branson Taylor can do just fine with the other pieces because they'll complement each other. One person's not going to make the whole line bad. That can happen, but it's not going to happen 17 weeks, and I'll bet on that. So,
yeah. I mean, we've been harping ever since Harbaugh got here, and probably before Harbaugh got here. But it definitely Roman's scheme definitely revealed the weakness of our interior line that came with the changes when Harbaugh and Roman got here. But I think we cannot have a worse interior than we had the previous 2 seasons. Badass, you call him Biotish.
Yeah.
I just he's badass. It's easier. He's going to hold down the fort very, very well. I think Strange, they're bringing him over for a reason. He fits the mold of this scheme, the wide zone, speed, footwork, mobility that they're looking for in the O-line. It's not, even though all these guys are big, they're not, that's the second part of the equation. You got to be able to move in this scheme. I mean, this goes all the way back to Mike Shanahan and the gap scheme that Gibbs used to run under him, and it didn't matter who the running back was. They were getting 1,000-yard runners every season. That's the scheme that Mike McDaniel comes out of with the Shanahans. And so, the one position there's left guard. I said this last season, I think. Dude, Pipkin's got to have some photos or something on somebody in the organization. Harbs or somebody, because Harbaugh keeps saying he thinks Pipkin is like one of our top 5 guys, and we'll always put out the best 5. And I'm sitting there going, okay, I know he knows football way better than I do. Even probably when he was in high school, he knew more football than I probably ever knew. Definitely in college before he got drafted, first rounder. But I don't see it with Pipkins, man. I don't see it. I've never seen it. So how Trey keeps getting, in the mix in any available position, I don't know. It baffles me to death.
Yeah, I think he's a good depth piece. Definitely not a starter, but if you need him even for a couple games, I think he's going to suffice, especially if the other guys stay healthy. So other than that, our offense is complete. And I don't even think there's a lot of people on my Chargers district page that are super worried about it, and that's the least of their worries on this team. So they got to worry about our schedule first, because the left guard is, with the pieces, if they stay healthy, with this supporting cast around him, the left guard is not going to make or break our game. I guarantee you that.
No, because for all the reasons we talked about, bringing over a guy like Kolar, Ingold.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got the pieces to do what they're going to do. Not to mention, they literally can cover up that position by running away from it.
Yeah.
All sorts of things that they can do if that position ends up being a weak link. Let's not think that that's the case until we actually see it on the field with our own eyes in week 1. You can't sit there even during preseason and go, oh no, this guy is falling, our left guard, because they're going to be rotating guys through there. These guys don't know they're the starter yet, so they're not taking every rep. They're bouncing around. So let's let that take place. But otherwise, you go through the roster, and I think for the most part, not only do we know who our starters are going to be, the safety room is going to be interesting as far as choosing who the starters are going to be there. Obviously, we know Derwin, but it's almost like, we play 3 safeties because Derwin's coming up playing, more of a linebacker role most of the time. And O'Leary, by the way, he's keeping his cards close to his vest. In all these interviews, he's like, you're just going to have to wait and see. We're going to do what we did before, but more. And we're going to enhance it, and guys like Popper, who, by the way, he's going to be down the road here shortly, but I think he was in the last interview I heard, trying to get trade secrets and stuff. He's like, no, man, you're just going to have to wait and see in week 1. So there's going to be a lot of stuff they're not even going to reveal in preseason. But yeah, I love the roster. I love what we did in the off season between free agents of our own that we signed, free agents of our own that we didn't sign, sometimes some addition by subtraction, and a couple choice free agents that we brought in. And then I think Ortiz did a great job again. I think he had a very, very solid draft that as we look back, 2029, 2030, which sounds really weird to say that, but it's not that far away. We're going to be looking at a lot of guys out of this draft that are starters and anchors on this roster for years to come. So,
yeah. I don't really have too much about the defense. And my last thing for training camp notes is, it is on the defense, however, is Genesis Smith. And it's funny you brought up the safeties.
Yeah, he went to school here by me, just down the road.
Yep, University of Arizona. And so, long story short, he has been flashing a lot and tons of reports. There was like 2 articles on the Chargers page within like 3 articles within from each other that were telling that were just showing that how good he's been. He picked off Herbert today. It was like a deflection, but he still picked him off, and he's been killing it. So it's going to be exciting to see that room. I think they're going to keep... Honestly, I think they are going to keep 5 safeties. I think that's going to be good because Derwin is kind of in his own position, and then I think it's going to be like... we'll get into it more, but like Tony, Genesis, Elijah Molden, and then Mickens, RJ Mickens, and then I think that's a great room. You got a couple vets in there, and you got a couple young guys that are going to be willing to step up. So I like that room. I just wanted to highlight the like how good he's doing in camp, because I feel like the last couple of years we've had that one safety that's been killing in a camp. So it's been good to see that again, because you can never have enough elite safeties. So
well, and the way the way we have been playing defense the last couple of years, it's almost it's interchangeable, right? They don't necessarily go, well, you're a safety, so you're a safety, and you're a DB, so you're a DB. They will put the best defensive back on the field regardless, and then adjust the scheme to fit the personnel. Yeah. And O'Leary's going to, continue to carry that type of philosophy forward, just with kind of his own flavor on it. And so it'll be interesting to see when we get pads on.
Yeah.
I've heard Genesis has been flashing. What's he gonna do once he's got pads on? And you're getting some live bullets in scrimmages and or preseason games. But they didn't take him for no reason. He's obviously got the ball skills. What's he going to have? Who was it who said this? Maybe it was O'Leary. He's like, well, what's he going to be doing when he's coming up the alley, facing, 22 out of Baltimore? That's a little bit different, than running around in shorts.
Yeah.
So, but it all bodes well for the future. Look at the 2 fifth-round picks we had 2 years ago in Ortiz's rookie season that are starting caliber DBs who are probably going to be looking to get paid here in a year or two too. So Joe's been hitting it out of the park with some of those late-round picks. This guy, he fits the mold big time.
Yep, yeah, so I'm excited to see Keaton Mitchell and a couple others are shining, like Branson Taylor, doing pretty good too. So it's good to see some of these other guys flashing and seeing some next player up type of mentality. So hopefully,
growth.
Yeah,
right. Growth from some of the young guys.
Yeah, so hopefully we can change it to a pretty good season, get our first playoff win since 2018. So
I like Super Bowl. I think we should just
win it all.
Keep our sights set there. I was feeling really good about last season with all the karma, being in the Hall of Fame game, which mirrored the '94 Chargers, and kind of some of those things. Obviously, things started going bad as soon as Slater went down last season. But it's Harbaugh's third season. We got McDaniels in. Roster feels loaded, looks loaded. I think Super Bowl is not out of the realm. Let's jump into the schedule. Okay, that was the other thing I wanted to cover in this pod. It's a weird schedule. There's portions of it that are definitely a gauntlet that is going to really test this team. One of the things I wanted to bring up that is odd about this schedule, usually we're getting hosed by miles, right? Being a West Coast team, having to fly to the East Coast a lot more than East Coast teams have to fly west. And so usually it's travel miles. The Chargers are almost always one of the top 3 teams as far as travel miles, and throw the Niners in there too, and the Seahawks typically, right? They're traveling more miles. This year, which is really weird and it's really wonky, I've never seen this before, we play 4 teams this season that are coming off a bye. 4. Not 1, not 2. We are playing 4 teams that are going to have 2 weeks rest against our 1 week or less rest. One of those games is a Thursday night game. All right? That's not cool. I'm sorry, but that's not cool. Each one of those teams is coming in fresher than we are. Now, fortunately, I don't think any of those are East Coast. I think they're all more. I think it's the Chiefs and the Raiders where we're traveling. The other 2, they're traveling to us. So at least it's a home game. But I had to point that out that, I don't know how many variables these schedule guys can factor in, but we kind of got hosed on that a little bit. I don't know if you were aware of that or not, but
yeah,
that's crazy.
There's a lot of different variables of our schedule that kind of screw us over. We don't have less travel miles, which is good, or more travel miles compared to last year, which is good. My stance on that. I don't think if you're a better football team, you're a better football team. I do take it into account with some degree, but you can't say, we lost this game because we're tired. Like, come on now, you're a pro football player. So
you have a choice.
Yeah, but there's a couple things like that, which is and weeks 3 through 10, so whatever, 7 weeks is the hardest 7-week stretch, in my opinion. It could be biased, but that I've seen through anybody's schedule. Like, we play the Super Bowl champions, we play the Chiefs, we play the Rams, we play the Broncos. We play tons of teams that have been to the Super Bowl, that have won in the last 2 years, or should have made it. Like the Broncos, I hate them probably more than the Raiders. I'm just one of those Charger fans, but they should have made it. Bo Nix got injured. So with that being said, there's a lot of hard, like every single game there is a up in the air game, and a couple of them are probably easy L's for us because there's a lot of heavy hitters. I don't see any other team that has to deal with 4 possible Super Bowl teams, Super Bowl winning champions, like Denver, Rams, Seahawks, and Chiefs all could win it again this year. Or could win it this year. So that's just my worry. If we get through that, I think that shows a lot about us. So we'll see.
No, I mean, and that's the section that is the gauntlet of gauntlets, right? And if you want to stretch it out another 2 weeks with what should be a patsy game, but it's the NFL. And like I've told you, any given Sunday, stretch it out another 2 weeks, and you've got the Jets at home and the Patriots at home. Now there's a little, drama going on in New England this season. How much will that distract the team? How much will that motivate that team? Personally, I don't think Drake May is the next coming of anybody like they were anointing him last season. He's got to put up a couple more before he warrants the praise that he was getting last season, in my opinion. But he had a great season. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he had a great season. And Vrabel, as a football coach, who cares what he's doing in hotel rooms with other people? That's between him but on the football field, Vrabel was my number 2. If we did not get Harbaugh, Vrabel was my number 2, hands. It wasn't even close. So, stretch that out another 2 weeks, dude, and that is a gauntlet of some serious competition. Couple things about the schedule, high level, that I was appreciative of. We don't have an international game. I hate those. Absolutely hate those. And it seems like every single one for us is always a home game. So we're the one always giving up the home game on those damn international games. And then number 2, we don't have right now, with the last week 17 and 18 being, they're going to be flexes. KC and the Donkeys, the last 2 weeks of the season, those are flexes. But otherwise, we've only got right now 3 primetime games. 1 each, Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night. And so the rest of our schedule's just vanilla, show up on Sunday and play, which I think is actually good for the team because their schedule's not here, there, all over the place. It's show up Sunday and play, show up Sunday and play, show up Sunday and play. So that should treat them well. And then our bye's decent. It's decent at week 7. So, it's a mixed bag, but man, weeks 3, like you said, weeks 3 through 10, dude. At least we get the Bills in week 3 at home.
That's 5.
When it's springtime.
That's 5 Super Bowl teams. I didn't even remember the Bills. Yeah, so I'm gonna be honest. I looked at this schedule, and there's
the Texans. The Texans have kicked our ass the last 2 times we played them.
There's only like 4 gimme games on the schedule, in my opinion, and 2 of them are the Raiders. The other one's New York, and then one other random one. I think
Miami.
Miami. Yes, that's exactly what I was gonna say. So thank you. But like, it's just crazy. That's like at least like 6 or 7 gimme games, in my opinion. But another thing I wanted to mention, and you can like quote me wrong on this, but I don't know what it is. Only Broncos and Charger fans would understand because it's between us teams, but we always play the Broncos week 17 or 18 every year. We always play them one of the last games, not week 16. We play them literally week 18 or 17 every single year because they know it's going to be a good game or something's on the line. Always between us. So I hate those types. I really don't want that. But hopefully it's like last year where we played them week 18 without Herbert even playing because we just sat him out again.
Yeah, and this season it's KC week 17 at SoFi.
Yeah.
And then week 18 is at the Broncos.
And that was last year too.
Besides the division, and the Broncos have the home field in that game. Ooh,
and they got Jalen Waddle.
And
I think that's
McDaniel's going to know how to take care of Jalen.
So we'll see. And then what I was going to say with the Patriots, this is just like a little thing. It's nothing on track with the pod. But I do think that drama would have set the locker room up a little differently, and it could have affected them until they signed A.J. Brown. I don't think that matters at all anymore. They just signed. I don't care what happened there. Jalen Hurts would barely throw him the ball. He has no competition in the wide receiver room of Patriots. Booty, okay. They had Devonta Smith. Of course, he's not going to throw to AJ all the time. So I think that's going to be a hard game for us. Texans, dude, don't even get me started with these guys. They give me PTSD every time we play them. I just see Will Anderson just boom on Herbert every single.
So does Herbert, I'm afraid, my man.
Yeah.
Herbert's got to be having nightmares about that.
Oh, yeah. As a fan, if I'm having nightmares, dude is waking up in cold sweats. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so definitely going to be a tough schedule.
No, I'm seeing Will Anderson.
Yeah. So we'll see. Going to be a hard schedule, but out of all the teams in the last 10 years, I think this one, honestly, last 10 years, I think this one's the most built for it. So, I think they're starting to ramp up by the end of training camp. They're going to be like, all right, let's get some. So.
Yeah. Well, at least we ease in the first couple weeks.
Yeah.
So let's get it. And this is the ChargersCast pre-season training camp schedule prediction as well. And then we'll wrap it up and call it a pod. I need something to write with. Hang on. All right, buddy. Week 1, we have the Cardinals at SoFi. It seems we're starting late this season. It feels like we're starting a week late. September 13th this season. Sunday game, 1:25 at SoFi. I've got it as a W.
Yeah, I think we could honestly skip to week 3. Week 1 and week 2, I got a W. Rookie QB week 2, week 1, Jacoby Brissett.
You don't think they're starting Cousins?
I think he starts week 1, but that's not saying much. The Falcons went real quick turnaround to Michael Penix Jr. after 4 games of Kirk Cousins. 4.
Yeah, look what Penix did.
So we'll see. Even if it is, you're dealing with 2 back-to-back veteran QBs, with one with 0 success and the other one with little playoff success and washed veterans. So 2 dubs in my opinion.
Well, maybe they go to O'Connell, and then, he puts up 60 on us.
That will never... I will never talk to...
Days are over.
I will become a Raiders fan if that happens. And you guys can quote me on that. I'll shake on it. If Aiden O'Connell puts 60 on us, I will become a Raiders fan.
Ever again if he puts 60 on us.
Yeah, ever.
Those days are long gone. All right, so we get into week 3... late September, so it's still nice, beautiful weather back in the upper upstate New York, and we go face Josh Allen and the Bills.
Lost.
I've got us taking an L there too, simply because we can't win them all, despite how much I think we will be competitive in every single game. That's our first road game. So, and it's against a quality opponent, even though they do have a new head coach. It's going to be interesting to see the dynamic in Buffalo this season. They stayed in-house at least, but McDermott out was kind of, I don't know, maybe it was time kind of thing. He had his chance. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see. All right, then we turn right around, fly all the way back to this side of the country, and then head up to the Pacific Northwest and face the 12s, Super Bowl champs.
That's a loss to me. I'm always a huge believer. They're the Super Bowl champs for a reason. If we couldn't even get through the wild card round of the playoffs, this is just a good loss in my opinion. I think we're going to be competitive, but I do not see us winning this game.
I got us pulling that one out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we can confuse Darnold, and they don't have Walker. Walker, unfortunately, we get to see him twice this season in a different color. I think our defense can take care of business on that. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I think our defense will actually win that game for us. Then we come home against the Donkeys.
I do see us winning the home game against Donkeys. I think we're going to 1-1 them.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a tight game. I mean, the division games are always tight, right?
Yeah.
I've got that as a W as well. And then we go on the road against KC, who is the first team coming off a bye that we face. So it's a road game at KC.
That's a win. I think we sweep KC this year.
I've got a dub on that. Then we go into our bye.
Yep.
And then we come home or stay home and play the Rams It's a home game for the Rams. That's a road game for us, which for me, that's an extra home game. I'll take it, especially with this schedule. What you got on the Rams, my man?
I got us losing to them and the Texans, back-to-back losses.
Okay, I've got an L for the Rams as well. Again, I think we can compete with those guys very well. But if Aaron Donald comes back and he's in the same line with Myles Garrett, are you freaking kidding me? Dude.
That's going to be the scariest team on planet Earth, and I never want to see them play the Chargers ever. If we play them against the Super Bowl, LA versus LA in LA with Aaron Donald, super team, oh boy, of course that's going to be our luck.
You know, the stars could align, and we absolutely could have an LA Super Bowl, LA versus LA, and yeah, I've got us taking the L in the regular season. We'll worry about the postseason when we get there. But that would be cool. That would be cool. Okay, so we get a road game in SoFi against the Rams. We both got us taking an L, even though we're in our home stadium. And then we have another real home game against the Texans. And you said you've got us taking the L with the Texans.
Yeah, I think they're a kryptonite for us.
I think we get over it this season. I think Alt, Slater are healthy. I think McDaniel's scheme doesn't let Will Anderson and his boys unleash themselves like wild ponies and stampede Herbert. I think we take him down this time. And C.J. Stroud hasn't been playing like the C.J. Stroud in his first couple seasons, so I think our D can handle that side of the ball. We just need to score one more point than they do. I think McDaniel schemes those guys up all day long. I think he uses those guys, their pass rush, I think he uses his against them. And we yak them all day long. First, primetime game, Monday Night Football against Jesse Minter. Road game in Baltimore.
That's a W.
I've got us taking the L there.
Our predictions are going to be way different. Last year they were pretty similar, but this year looks like they're shaping out to be different.
I've got us taking the L there. Prime time, road game. Jesse knows our scheme. I'm just saying. That's all. Now, he doesn't know the offensive scheme, but he knows the defensive scheme.
I don't think it's a passing the torch type of year this year. We can have that in 2 years. I think the master is going to take him down. I think Master Shifu and Kung Fu Panda take down Po any day. That's how they are. So yeah. I think he's going to be good, but you can say the same thing. We know how he runs a defense.
We do.
We know how he operates, and we know the Baltimore Ravens better than anybody, and they know us better than anybody. So it could go either way, but I do think being a first-year coach, having a hard team like us, I don't think he's going to take it.
It's going to be interesting to see in Week 10 where the Ravens are at under Jesse.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like I was talking about the Bills, but it's still early in the season. It's going to be really interesting to see where they're at with their new head coach.
Yeah.
We know the roster is very talented, but there's more to it than that. And by the way, Minter hasn't seen our new offensive scheme, but it'll be Week 10, so he'll have plenty of film. It's going to be an interesting matchup. Week 11, home game in SoFi against the Jets. Let me guess. I'm going to guess on this one. You got a W.
Yep.
Going against our boy who returned to the Jets, the scene of the crime.
Geno Smith.
Geno Smith.
Dude, he probably is not going to start by that.
He probably will long since be on the bench by then.
I don't even know who their second-string quarterback is, but it's better than what he...
Better than Geno.
What?
Yeah. It's going to be better than Geno.
Better than Geno, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And then Week 12, we're home. 2-game homestand against Drake May, Vrabel, and the Pats.
I see us taking another W on that one.
I've got us winning that game too. Home game. We're starting to hit our stride. I think we're going to have a really nice stretch on the back end after that gauntlet on the front end. Then we go on the road against Tampa Bay.
That's a win to me. I think they're a very overrated team in my opinion. Every year they start off hot and then somehow become 9-8, and the Panthers are somehow on their tails every single year. So I think I love Baker Mayfield, but I just don't think they have it all together. So they're always losing games they should win, kind of like us, but they can never get over the hump now. I think they had that first good season with Baker opening up when he came over, and then it's kind of been mediocre from there.
Yeah, well, it's a road game. It's a long road game. But, let's see, it's early December, and it's in, Florida. So It's not like it's really a winter game.
Yeah.
I kind of think this is kind of a revenge game for us a little bit because they stomped us pretty good.
40 burger.
They dominated us pretty well last season. And so I don't think we're going to forget that.
No.
And then we come back and we have a road game in Las Vegas. So we've got a 50-minute plane ride to Vegas to go whip up on the rookie quarterback.
40, but
and they're coming off a bye as well, just as the Patriots were. And that's the last one coming off the bye. There's that road game against the Raiders.
Yeah, that's a 40 burger, 56-0 Chargers. Revenge game for us because they 63 to 14, whatever that game was. That's their Super Bowl in the last 30 years. So, with that being said, if we can beat them like that, they can finally just be quiet, which they never will.
They won't. They won't. And I don't like it when they are anyway. It's more fun when they're talking. I've got us taking the W against the Raiders as well.
Sorry, I don't want to go off this real quick, but I just saw our guy, Simi Fehoko, on the field.
Yeah, Simi, man.
Yep, Simi's on the Cardinals now. Seems like he's kind of like what he was with us. So cool to see him still in the NFL. I liked him, and he started that hashtag no elevators thing that people still say. So
no, Simi's a great dude.
Yeah.
It was sorry to see him go, but he's a crowded room and he's a role player guy.
Yep.
It was nice to see him land here actually in Arizona, which is cool. 49ers and Thursday night football, which by the way the Patriots was Sunday night football.
So
and that's a short week. We only get 4 days rest on that game.
Yeah, so I have us taking a win. I see us making this like a 6 win in a row. I think that 3 through 10 is kind of the hardest thing we have. All of these other games I think are very, very winnable.
I think we're more than capable of beating that team.
Yeah.
At the current state of them. And then, who knows what's going on with Kyle Shanahan, how that's going to, this sounded like a pretty bad accident, but he's recovering. But
their injury list is already like this again. I don't know what it is. They say it's that power plant, which is funny, but Mike Evans is already injured. Like, half their squad is already almost out for the season already. So
crazy.
I think they're not. They never last past week 7. So I think that's going to be a pretty easy win for us.
Well, and I think didn't I hear Ricky Pearsall's out? So he
out.
Was the receiver taken at the end of the first round, just before we traded up and took Ladd.
Yeah.
And that first season he ended up getting mugged or something in Frisco and shot in the chest. Shocker there. And then he ended up a knee or something. No, not against him. It's against San Francisco, man.
No, that's why I'm laughing because San Francisco's a crappy place.
It's not the San Francisco I remember. But and then he had a knee or a hammy or something last season. When he's been healthy, he can play. but he's got something this season. He's out. I think they've ruled him out for the season. So thank goodness they got Mike Evans. But if he's gimp, and it's a long season, right? We're talking week 16.
Yeah.
Pardon me, week 15. These 18-week seasons are brutal, man. So I've got us taking the win against the Niners as well. And then December 27th, after Christmas, we turn around and fly back to South Beach. So it's a long East Coast game, but it's in South Florida. So again, we avoid the snow and we get some sunshine.
I think that's a revenge game.
Going to have a little fun with that game?
I think it's a big revenge game. I think that's a big W. I think McDaniel is going to show them, hey, man, you probably didn't go in the right direction. Give me some better pieces and a little better of an organization to work with and see what I can do.
Think he can do a 70 burger again?
Oh, like he did against Denver? I hope so. And if he had the opportunity, he probably would. Against them, yes.
I think he would absolutely. If we're scoring at will like they did in that game against Denver, well, he showed he would. Yeah. Right? He'd pedal to the metal, man. Don't you put your foot on their throat and you snuff them out. Yeah. How sweet would that be?
That'd be awesome.
We know his scheme is capable.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
That's a dub. And then week 17 at SoFi against the Chefs.
So I did say we'd sweep them, but it's division and it's the Chiefs. I'm going to give them the win there.
Okay, so I have us losing that game. Don't ask me why I have us losing that game, because I think we are a better team this season than they are, but you still have to play the game. That's why I hate all those stupid lists. Yeah. You still have to play them, and the Chiefs are the Chiefs until they're not the Chiefs. And they're going to have a run game this season. It's going to be better than it has been. Walker's more than capable, but it's week 17. For all we know, half their offensive line's on OR, IR, and Walker's out. You just never know, right? But I got us taking the loss there. And then we've got the away game in Mile High against the Donkeys.
And I have that as a loss as well, because I gave us a win earlier on with them.
Gotcha. And I have us taking the W on that, because that game actually is going to decide the division winner, I believe. And I got us taking it this season, where we were incapable last season due to everything.
Yeah.
You pick why. Justin being beat up, tackles out, interior offensive line couldn't block a fly.
Yeah.
I mean, you name it, right? I think O'Marion was in and out all season, so he never got in a rhythm, even though Kamani played
lights out.
Actively. Yeah. So, fat him up. I've got us winning 2 more games this season than the last 2 seasons, so I've got us at 13-4. You've got us at 13-4 as well.
So that's obviously the high, the very optimistic one. I do see us maybe losing 1 or 2 more, but that's a very doable thing in my opinion. So it's interesting we have the same record. That's actually so interesting. Same record, however, we went a totally different route with wins and losses.
We got there a little differently, and for those of you in ChargerCast land, Brennan and I haven't spoken in months. This is the first time Brennan and I have spoken in months. So if you think we compared notes before the pod, didn't happen.
Not a clue what he was going to say.
Yeah, seriously, right? But I'm giving Harbaugh credit. Season 3, the core of this team is intact from the previous 2 seasons. The defensive scheme, it's intact despite the different, OC or DC there. And there's going to be some games where McDaniel's is going to dial up some stuff where it's just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's defenses are going to be absolutely just confused. Absolutely confused. They're just not going to know what hit them. Football season, man, it's here.
Man, I cannot wait. It's gonna be awesome. So hopefully the Chargers can do something good. Hopefully it's not like the last 2 seasons with us, and slowly like week 2, week 3, then week 5, then week 7, then week 8 we're like this, then week 10 we're like, and then by week 16 we're like, huh? And then by playoffs we're like this again. So, but who knows? It's always going to be a roller coaster with us Chargers. But hopefully we can get over the hump. I do believe in what you just said. I think year 3 is going to be a good year. 2 years to kind of keep developing, and they've clearly had a system. They're not just doing thing one and done each year. They're trying to build a super team. They're trying to make a good core squad. And by year 3, you should have a good squad and a good kind of like game plan. So years 1 and 2, develop, get all your pieces you want. Last year didn't really go as well as we wanted it to when it came to their game plan, but this year it seems like it's shaping up much better, and we went a little bit different of a direction with offensive coordinators, but hopefully that's what we needed to get over this hump. Always a lackluster performance from the offense and a great defensive performance. So hopefully we just got even a better offense than what we did. So, and I think our defense is going to be as good. I think Chris O'Leary is the protege of Jesse Minter. Everybody has always good things to say. He took a Western Michigan team from the bottom to a top 10 defense in all of college football, especially with that school. Not as good talent considering Bama, UGA, all that schools. So I think it's going to be a good season for us.
Yeah, it's a lot to be optimistic about, and of course, all 32 teams and all of their fans and every podcast out there says that this time of year. But, like I said, there really weren't any bad moves. There's one here or there maybe you can criticize as far as not signing a guy or something. But overwhelmingly, I think we've had a really good off season, and not an off season by, a lot of these guys who like, hey, I want to win the off season by signing marquee players.
Yeah.
That wasn't how we do it. It's not how the Chargers have really ever done it, and Ortiz carries that from Baltimore. But, we got David Njoku. That's a big name. I think he's going to be huge for us. And, of course, McDaniel, and then we signed guys that are going to fit the scheme. And one thing we haven't talked about that everybody should know this, but it's not being talked about because of McDaniels in Miami. McDaniels is a run game genius, okay? And Harbaugh likes to run the ball. So while we're going to have the ability to light it up through the air, watch out for this running game. This running game is going to tear it up. And you remember kind of O'Marion's coming out party, was it against the Giants last year?
Yeah, he had that 60-yard TD.
Beast mode, dude. Absolute beast mode. Now you get this outside zone running game where he can get ahead of steam, and he's got a couple big bodies in front of him. Man, there's nothing more beautiful than that. Okay, I love a long pass. Don't get me wrong. I grew up in Air Coryell. But watching an offense and a running back manhandle a defense to the point where they're like, we should just go in the locker room, change, and get on the bus and go home because we can't stop these guys. That is the epitome of football.
It also opens up the pass. Play action is going to be a big emphasis on us, and they're going to put a lot of play action plays in our arsenal. So you run it 3 20-plus yard gains, they're going to expect it again, and then you just air it out to QJ or Ladd for a touchdown, or even like a 15-yard gain. Just keep getting that. That's where he wants the emphasis on getting to the line fast. You get to the line fast, they're not going to know if you're going to run or pass. Put a play-action play on their ass, and they're going to really not know what's going on. And that's...
Don't be shocked if we're running a lot of 13 personnel.
Yep, that's why we got the Charlie Kohlers, the Alex Ingalls, even the David Njoku's. He's more of a receiver, but he's a big guy. He can block too.
Yeah, well, and he can just scare you, like I said, running a curl across the middle or a slant, right?
Yeah.
Don't be shocked. We
it's gonna be good.
Ran a lot of 13 last year, but that was more out of necessity, right? With Matlock and Tucker Fisk. Because we didn't have tackles that could block for shit.
Yeah. One thing I want to say, I'm curious to see if he's going to still be on the team or not.
Fisk?
Matlock.
You know, I'm wondering about him. I wouldn't be shocked if he gets a roster spot for blocking on special teams and still being a defensive player. But I think they replaced him on the offensive side of the ball. I don't think they need him there now.
Yeah, who knows though? He could get his position back if he could be an FB2. Fullback 2 if Alex Ingold doesn't do good or is out for a player a couple games or something. Who knows? He might be able to get back on that wagon later on. But yeah, definitely curious.
Guy.
Yeah, so it's overall I'm excited. It's gonna be a good season. So can't wait.
Me as well.
Yeah.
And I'll just kind of leave it at this, at this early optimistic stage of, preseason and camp, which is all of you Bolt fam out there, just keep praying to the football gods that this season is the season the Bolts stay healthy. If this roster stays healthy, sky's the limit. Sky's absolutely the limit. So health is going to be critical. And everybody gets injuries throughout the season. And Ortiz has done a great job of moving pieces in when guys get hurt. But, doesn't hurt that the whole fan base is putting out good vibes to the football gods that this season our tackles are going to stay healthy. They're going to play 98% of all the snaps. And this roster is going to show us what they're capable of. So with that, Brennan, buddy, it's great to see you. So excited for the new season. And that's it for this episode of ChargersCast. Appreciate you guys a ton. And we'll be back in a few weeks as we're starting to head into these preseason games. And Brennan and I will give you our 2 cents on how this is shaping up. Like I said, both offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, I think they're going to be keeping their cards close to their vest in the preseason. So we're going to be working on limited information as we're working through. So it'll be more of probably personnel than scheme as we're kind of seeing how the roster is going to shape up through preseason. But Brennan, who got it better than us, my friend?
Nobody,
baby. All right, we're out. We'll see you on the next episode of ChargersCast. Hi, I'm Kirk Brewer, the creator and host of ChargersCast. I just wanted to say thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of ChargersCast. We really appreciate you engaging with the podcast. When I created ChargersCast, it was intended to be a podcast about everything Los Angeles Chargers from a fan perspective. It's by fans and for fans. So it's for you. And we really appreciate you being here. If you haven't done so already, please go down below, leave a comment, give us some feedback. We really love to hear from you. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe and click the little bell so that you get notifications when new content drops. Again, thank you so much for tuning in to ChargersCast. And who's got it better than us? Nobody.